AFC Agrifood Webinar. I want to officially welcome you to this inaugural event, and today we're kicking off with the West African region. My name is Anne Obize, Communications Officer at Africa Food Changemakers, and I'll be your host for this webinar series, and I'm so excited to be meeting so many persons. So right now, I want us to quickly go to the chat box and introduce yourself. So in this order, tell us your name, tell us your organization, what country you are joining from, and one expectation for today's event. So type that in the chat box. I can see so many persons coming in. And so let's do that quickly. Let us know your name, where you're joining from, and your country. What country are you representing, and what is your expectation for today's event? So I'll run you quickly through the agenda, and while I'm reading through the agenda, I expect that the introductions are going on in the chat box, and then I would come back to acknowledge everyone who drops their introduction. So we're going to have, we're briefly going to talk about the African food change makers, who we are, what we have achieved. And after that, we would have the keynote address, where we already have our speaker who is seated here and ready to share a lot of value for us. After that, we would also take the programs highlight the impact from our members, here from get some testimonials from our members, and then we will dive in to the panel session, where we have amazing panelists already on the call, and then we would also have the application drive for Brace, Laugh, and every other question you have. We will be ready to answer that. So I'll move swiftly to the chat box right now to see those that have introduced themselves. So okay, I see Anthony. Anthony is from Tractor on the Go Limited from Nigeria. Okay, I think I lost that chat. Okay, I think everything is coming in so fast. I see Sahid Adams. Sahid Adams, you're welcome. You're joining from Lagos, Nigeria. I see Emmanuel Ugoke. Thank you so much. Wherever you're joining from, for those who are joining from the French-speaking parts of West Africa, permit me to say Swahili, bienvenue. For my friends and my brothers and sisters from Ghana, I would say Akwaba. Yes, so welcome to the AFC Agrifood Webinar. And this webinar has been strategically put together to bring thought leaders, innovators, influencers across the African agriculture and food industry. And what we aim to do through this event is to, share insights, to talk about solutions, and see how we can collaborate to address the challenges and opportunities in the West African continent. So that is why we are here. And I want to let you know that we have amazing speakers and panelists who have a lot of value to deliver. So get your expectations high. It will be very interactive, so you get the opportunity to ask questions, and we would also share value with you. So right now, permit me to hand over the virtual mic to the programs manager at AFC, who would briefly talk about who we are at Africa Food Changemakers, and then go ahead to invite our speakers. So ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding virtual round of applause in the chat box. I want to see those chats, because if I don't see those chats coming up, I would not hand over the mic. So I want to see that you're excited to know who we are and what we do. All right, so permit me to hand over the mic to Ruth Egbe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne, for that vibrant introduction. I feel the energy, E for energy. I hope we all feel the energy in the room. Good day, everyone. My name is Ruth Ebe, Programs Manager, Africa Food Change Makers, and we are thrilled to welcome you all to this webinar series. Is the very first, hosted by Africa Food Change Makers, and we are saying welcome to everyone from Western Africa that is a team of change makers on a mission to nourish Africa and reshape global narratives. At AFC, we understand that small and medium-scale enterprises are the heartbeat of the food ecosystem. So that is why our primary focus is to empower You visionary, dynamic, innovative entrepreneurs who play diverse roles across the agri-food value chain. So whether you're a primary producer or an aggregator, a processor or a distributor, an input or equipment provider, we have got you covered. Even if you're a logistics and finance expert, a technology innovator, an agribusiness consultant, or even a stomach infrastructure consultant, aka chef or cook, we have got you covered. So no matter where you are or who you are across the continent and within this agri-food value chain, we are committed to fostering the growth, resilience, and sustainability of your agri-food business. We understand the challenges and risks that SMEs face, especially agribusinesses, not just socio-economically, but also environmentally. So through our programs, our hub resources, we provide essential support in the form of training, funding opportunities, exposure to trade linkages, and access to a vibrant community of entrepreneurs, just like you all that are joined in this call today. We firmly believe that by enabling change makers like you on this platform, we can contribute significantly to the transformation of the African food landscape. So if you're part of our community, thank you for your part in exploring together with us how we can make a lasting impact on the agri-food sector. If you're yet to join us, don't miss a beat. This program is for you. So join us on this exciting journey as we delve into the stories, the insights, the strategies of these remarkable individuals that we've put together on our panels who are shaping the future of food in Africa. So at this juncture, it's my pleasure to introduce our very first agri-food keynote speaker, a very special person to us because she is the associate partner of our sister company, Sahel Consulting, Aisha Hadija. Aisha is a management consultant, a social development expert with experience in both the nonprofit and private sector, working with multinational teams on conceptualizing and implementing projects to create positive change in communities across Nigeria. At Sahel Consulting, Aisha's work is focused on industry research and analysis across multi-agricultural value chains, as well as transforming the Nigerian agricultural sector by strengthening the technical and institutional capacity of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to formulate and implement innovative and inclusive policies that will increase productivity and income of poor farmers, create job opportunities, and improved livelihood for millions of smallholder farmers, particularly women and youth. Aisha is passionate about international development and gender equity. She started her career as a health communication coordinator, advocating for women, economic empowerment, and improving girls' access to technology, information, and healthcare. Aisha is a gender-responsive agriculture system policy GRASP Fellow, an initiative of the African Women in Agricultural Research Band Development. She holds a bachelor degree from the University of Leeds, UK, a master's degree from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and an MBA from the University of Aberdeen, Scotland. She's also a fellow of Leading African Women in Food Fellowship, one of the many programs that we run in African Food Changemakers. So let's put a digital round of applause as we welcome Aisha Hadija to take the keynote for today. Aisha.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Thank you, Anne, for the very, very generous introduction. Good afternoon, good evening, and indeed also good morning for all of us joining, and from wherever you are joining. Thank you very much for making out time to be with us today. I am honored to be presenting the keynote address for the first leg of this webinar series that is starting in West Africa and going around our blessed continent. Indeed, aptly themed, Building Sustainable Agribusiness Models, Balancing Profitability and Environmental Impact. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is no denying the fact that climate and environmental factors affect our food ecosystem. And inversely, the way we grow, transport, and consume our food is severely affecting the environment. So for this to change to a balance that is good for people, that's good for the planet, and also good for profit, for us to see any meaningful transformation, entrepreneurs and their business models must be flexible and agile, enough to pay attention to the trends that we are seeing and then plan to tackle these challenges before they become insurmountable. To the entrepreneurs in this room, here are my 2 cents. 1, we must be apt in identifying innovative opportunities. Investors prefer tech-enabled and climate-smart businesses. This means you have to seek out solutions that work for your location, for your scope, and for your value chain. Technological solutions are not a one-size-fits-all, so there has to be some form of fit, and you have to try and see which one works for you. Not because it works here doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Number 2, we have to be informed. What this means is you have to understand the industry. What are the industry standards? What are the protocols that are in place? The way to do that is to engage with the community of practice, engage with your policymakers, engage with civil society and industry associations. There are multiple forums you can join the discourse and then have your voice heard. The African Food Changemakers Hub is actually one where you can actually do this and do this effectively. It also enables you to find out who is doing what, who can you partner with on the production end as well as the consumption end. It allows you to explore areas where you can look into shared production and processing facilities. This would help drive down cost and also the time it takes for you in your operations and processes. Third is change the narrative. Change the narrative for your customers and change it for your investors. Investors need to know that when they are coming to us, entrepreneurs, they are meeting investment-ready businesses. We must instill that confidence that we have what it takes to navigate the agribusiness terrain, both at home and abroad. 2023 was indeed a very challenging year for us all, in some countries more than others. And already 2024 is starting to be a very interesting one. For those of us that are in West Africa, yesterday we woke up to the news that 3 of our brethren countries have left the ECOWAS community. Now, what this means for food and agribusiness within our ECOWAS community is yet to be seen. But nevertheless, what binds us as Africans is much, much, much more than what separates us. And on behalf of everyone at Sahel Consulting, I say we will continue to work towards a food-secure Africa, and so help us God. Well, with this, I would like to wish you a fruitful deliberation and look forward to hearing from all the amazing speakers we have here. Thank you very much. And over to you, Anne.
Okay, thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you so much for setting the foundation for today's event. You know, there's something beautiful about foundation. When you already have a very solid foundation set, it's easier for you to build structures. And I want to let you know that what Aisha has done for us this afternoon is set the foundation for today's conversation. And I want to go to the chat box to see what you are saying. What are you saying? What is that one thing you picked up from what she talked about? I want to see, you know, this is a webinar, and part of the reason why we're having this webinar is also for connection and collaboration. And apart from learning from the speakers who will be speaking, we also want to make sure that you are getting value. So let me know in the chat box 1 or 2 feedback you're taking away from this brief keynote session with Aisha. So before we move on, just I want to check the chats. Okay, so who is saying something? Okay, Techno is saying thank you, Aisha. All right, thank you. Please keep your chats coming. Okay. Okay, so some persons are still doing introduction, but I want us to share feedback in the chat box. All right, so thank you so much, Aisha, once again for your time and for setting the pace for the foundation for today's session. And I can see some feedback already coming. Rukayat is saying, thank you, we really appreciate. Abubakar is saying, understand industry by engaging with community of practices to partner. And okay, the chat just moved up, but thank you so much. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. So while we are still sharing key takeaways from Aisha's session in the chat box, I want us, everyone, make sure you're doing that. We're going to go next to program highlights, impact program highlight from African Food Chain Makers. So I'll share my screen, and after that, you would hear my voice again.
The Leading African Women in Food Fellowship Program is an annual 6-month program that identifies outstanding female disruptors, ecosystem enablers, entrepreneurs, policymakers, chefs, trendsetters, and storytellers in the African food ecosystem, and provides them with training, mentorship, visibility, and a community of support to advance their work and enhance their impact.
Such an important program and bringing women change makers from across the continent together.
For the past 6-7 months that we have been with the fellowship, we've had a series of industry experts. These are busy people that took their time to get to know us, to understand what we do.
The fellowship serves as a transformative platform that catalyzes positive change, fostering a resilient and inclusive food ecosystem led by these exceptional female leaders.
We get a lot of applications, apply for this, apply for that, but I have never been in an actual food program where it's just food system.
Before I joined LAF, I was thinking small, but now I'm dreaming big.
Do you know a dynamic woman making an outstanding impact in Africa's agriculture landscape? If so, nominate them today.
You know, in the midst of so many no's, when you see one yes, it's like a little light in the tunnel. So when I was accepted into the LAF program, it was like a big yes, not just a small yes. It was a big yes for me. Yes, someone somewhere appreciates what you're doing.
I think this is the start of something amazing and big, and it has so much potential. And I'm looking forward to more and more cohorts that will build this into an amazing network of women doing amazing things. I see this being a platform for African women to truly find their voice and connect with other women in the same sphere.
For more information on how to nominate, visit our website at www.lof.afchub.org.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you just got to know about one of our programs called the Leading African Women in Food Fellowship. And I'm excited to let you know that the nomination for the second cohort of this program is already ongoing. So there was a question that was thrown in the video. It says, do you know any woman who is making outstanding impact in the agriculture sector? Nominate her now. So the link will be shared in the chat box, so you can, even after this event, would also share more details around the program. You can go ahead, nominate that outstanding woman who is making impact in the agriculture landscape. So I would also share another video that would show the impact of another program we run at AFC. Remember when Ruth was giving her introduction, she said that entrepreneurs, we know that agripreneurs face a lot of challenges, and all the programs we run at AFC are specially curated to see how we can mitigate some of these challenges and also empower you so that you can grow sustainable agribusinesses that not just nourish Nigeria or your country, but Africa and the world at large.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Muhammad Benjamin Yakub, the CEO of Yakdan Agro Venture Services. Actually, I'm delighted to be part of this program because having attended the virtual training, I was able to learn about the climate smart agriculture from module 1 to the last module for 6 weeks. Actually, I was impressed having this virtual session, and when I got the information concerning the study to visit, it made me to be happy to at least meet new people and collaborate to see how I will put my enterprise ahead. Actually, I'm a cassava processor. Today, I was able to see 4 new varieties released by ITA. In fact, I give glory to ITA based on these cassava varieties, and not leaving behind the AFC, that's African Food Chain Makers, who initiated this in connection to the brace to brighten up my knowledge.
Okay, my name is Adoma Priska Ezinwo. I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine. It has been amazing so far. Coming in contact with the African Food Chain Makers and the brace program. It has been a whole world of exposure. For the first time, I am being exposed to the concept of climate smart agriculture. My business is focused on meat processing and meat inspection at Dr. Omar's Meat Shop. That's what we do. And having to know that some of our processes may dangerously affect the climate is something that, triggered a wake-up call. And then AFC didn't just stop at a virtual program. We are here for a study visit to actually see these things being practicalized. It's amazing. And I'll say kudos to African Food Chain Makers. Thank you for wanting to change the narrative of agriculture and the whole, production chain in Nigeria.
Okay, so you just had brief feedback from 2 out of so many participants who were part of the first cohort of the Building Resilience Against Climate and Environmental Shock. That's the BRACE program. And it will interest you to know that that program was launched last year, and we had 500 agri-SMEs who were trained through that program. And we didn't just stop at the virtual training, which ran for 6 weeks. Some of these participants got the opportunity to visit went for physical study visits in Abuja IITA, in Abuja, also in Nashpri in Kano, and then in Ibadan. And I'm also excited to let you know that application for the second cohorts would unveil that, I think, later on, but it'll be commencing after this event. We'll let you know more about that. But BRACE is all about teaching you and empowering you on how to use climate smart practices to enhance your agribusiness. So that's the second program we run at African Food Change Makers. I'll briefly share another feedback video from another program we run at African Food Change Makers, which is the Scaling Exports program. And if you know you've taken part of any of this program, I want you to rep that program in the chat box. I want us to see you say, oh, I am a participant of this program. This is what that program did for me. So rep that program in the chat box, whether it's Laugh or Brace or even SCP that I'm about to play the impact video. Let me see you rep that program in the chat box.
Imana from Hi, my name is Usman Imana from Friska Farms Limited. We are an agribusiness manufacturer on a mission to providing sustainable and affordable solutions to nutrition, health, and wellness. We do this through 3 lines of products: herbal teas, baby cereal, and a line of snacks. I'm here at the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in Cairo, Egypt, displaying with other African entrepreneurs. I'm a member of the SCP under the Africa Food Chain Makers, and looking forward to good sales and pushing our products across Africa and beyond Africa.
Vivian from Macarius Blue Dates. We process dates into various delicious products like our date powder, our date biscuits, our date syrup, our date granola. So we're right here at the Inter-Africa Trade Fair 2023. happening in Egypt, Cairo. We're members of the African Food Change Makers, and we're so glad to be a part of that lovely community. We're currently going through the Scaling Export Program. It's been a beautiful, insightful learning experience, and we're looking to export across Africa and the world.
Okay, so there you have it. You just heard from some of the participants of the Scaling Export Program. And the Scaling Export Program is geared towards helping African agripreneurs and entrepreneurs to be able to export their products, not just in their country, but to the global stage. And we've had that program running since last year. And I'll let you know that the program is currently rounding off, and later on this year, application will be open for people who are interested, who already have businesses who have products that they want to export, and you want to learn the intricacies and the details around the export and how to navigate the documentations and all that program would set you up for export. Okay, so I'm just quickly at the chat box to see what you are saying. Mark says, participants on Brace, so impactful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Mark. Ella Omenzi is saying SCP training. So I guess you're repping SCP. Ruth is saying, I am a participant of SCP. Hadiza is saying, I am a participant of Brace and SCP. Ijama is saying, scaling program. I guess that's scaling export. Okay, let's keep that coming. Let's keep it coming. And this is just, when you play match, we have first half, we have second half. For those of you that are joining, I want to let you know what you've missed. You've missed the keynote session, but then that's not all. We still have a lot more in store for you. And next, we'll be going to the panel session where we have amazing panelists who would also be building on the foundation that has been laid by our keynote speaker. And I would hand over the mic at this point again. You've seen her face before, and you'll see her face again. But permit me to make welcome our programs manager at African Food Changemakers, Ruth Egbe, as she introduces the panelists and engage.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. I saw on the chat box, somebody said, yes, yes, yes. There's a lot of energy. I was like, oh, yes, yes, yes. And E for energy. Thank you for the energy you're bringing to the room, but that's energy, and I'm also feeling it. I was on the chat box, looking at comments, looking at testimonials, looking at all sorts, but I'm happy that we're all ready to begin to gain those insights, to begin to hear from our speakers. And I'm also happy to know that our speakers are with us. We have 3 panelists on the webinar series, Western webinar series for today. And as a reminder, I want to remind us that the topic for today is building sustainable agribusiness models, balancing profitability and environmental impact. Balancing profitability and environmental impact is very key. When we face all these risks and challenges, how do we really balance, still keep our businesses afloat with all the challenges going on, with everything that we're struggling with? How are we able to, carry out our practices perfectly, carry out in a way that it's not climate affecting, impacting, but carry out our practices in climate friendly ways, yet keep our profitability high. So I know we're all ready. Everybody, I can see a lot of business people in the chat box, ready and pumped up to begin to get those ideas. So we have 3 panelists on the platform now. I want to confirm that we have all our speakers on the call right now. So yes, we have 3 panelists, like I said, and we just want to introduce them before we begin to take your questions. So you know the topic, so begin to drop your questions on the chat box even as I introduce them. So Drisa is our first. Is Drisa online? Is Drisa on? Okay, we have Drisa, we have Temi, and we have Amarachi. However, we have been able to confirm that Temi and Amarachi are on the call. So I'll introduce Temi, Drisa is online. Oh, thank you, thank you. Drisa, you're welcome. We've really been waiting for you. Our fingers were crossed, hoping that you would join anytime now. Thank you for being on the call. So I am going to introduce him first. Thank you for joining. Drisa is the country representative of YPAD in Mali. That is the Young Professionals for Agriculture Research and Development. He's a researcher at Food Technologies Laboratory of Mali, the founder and CEO of TESS Agri Services. He was the West Africa Regional Representative of AAIN, Africa Agribusiness Incubators Network. LTA, Food Technologies Laboratory, is the national lab which carries out studies on the processing and stabilization of processed agricultural products. TESS Agri Services is specialized in training young people in agricultural entrepreneurship, skills development, capacity building, and other like competencies. Drisa has trained and coached many young entrepreneurs in Mali, in Senegal, in Niger, in Guinea, Conakry, and Ivory Coast on food processing technologies, agroecology, and biological agricultural entrepreneurship. Also, business plan elaboration, capacity building, and skills development. With this scope, I hope some of the beneficiaries of this training are also on the call. Drisa holds a master's degree in food security and nutrition, a master's degree in geography, environment, and development. He also has a certificate in agroeconomics and project management. Let's put our hands together. Virtual clap, welcoming Drisa Tesogil, country representative YPAD. So I'll now to our second panelist, Temioluwa Okeowo, an agri-tech Okeowo, pardon my, an agri-tech enterprise that provides end-to-end support for smallholder farmers to enable them. Temi Oluwa Okeowo is the lead counsel in Babangona, general counsel in Babangona. Babangona is an agri-tech enterprise that provides end-to-end support to smallholder farmers to enable them become more profitable and environmentally sustainable. She is also company secretary and leads the partnership teams and is responsible for all legal compliance, environmental, social, and governance policy implementation and monitoring at Babangona. Prior to joining Babangona in 2023, she worked in private practice as a managing associate at Udo Udoma and Bello Osage, one of Nigeria's largest corporate commercial law firms, where she specialized in mergers and acquisitions, private equity, and venture capital. Temioluwa is passionate about creating impact in Nigeria, whether it is working with companies to secure funding or working with farmers to improve their profitability and increase financial inclusion in Nigeria. Temioluwa is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association and is currently secretary of the NBA SBL Conference Planning Committee. She's an alumna of the London School of Economics and Political Sciences and was admitted to the Nigerian Bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria in 2013. She also holds a business certificate from Harvard Business School. Amazing profile you have there, Temi Okeowo, and it's a privilege to have you on the panel today. So let's put our hands together for Temi Oluwa. Last but not least, we have Amarachi Opala Onwamebu. She's the founder of House of Maramuna, a 100% Nigerian-sourced coconut and organic company with a rich history in customer service and quality. An outstanding feature of Amarachi's company is the ability to diversify and provide exclusive products for varieties and meeting customers' needs And these qualities made her participate as one of the panelists at the European Union Commission's International Product Safety Week at Brussels, Belgium in 2022. Amarachi is well known for her passion for delivery of coconut foods and original coconut oil, carrot oil, and all sorts of oils. She has impacted the lives of over 5,000 school children and women in her community through her entrepreneurship program. She's an alumna of the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, AWE, and African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative, AWEC. She's also an alumna of YALI, Regional Leadership Center, YALI Network. She is a beneficiary of one of our high-impact programs empowering agripreneurs against the shock of climate change, which is the BRACE, what Anne was talking about not a long time ago. And currently, she's volunteering as the Director for Training and Empowerment for Ultimate Destiny Uplifters Foundation, UDUF. Amarachi loves volunteering and she's dedicated to serving humanity. It's a huge pleasure to have these three amazing panelists on our webinar series in our very first Agri-Food Webinar series, the very first edition covering the Western region of Africa. And we want to say welcome. We want to also put our hands together for Amarachi. Virtual hand clap, and wherever you are, please clap for our panelists. So, like I said earlier, if you have questions, you can begin to drop them in the chat box as we look at them and we'll take them. But we have some questions that are going to set the tone for the day. Before we begin to even, ask the questions, we have a topic. We have a topic called Building Sustainable Agribusiness Models, Balancing Profitability and Environmental Impact. And before we start to ask questions, we would like our panelists to just, give an opening statement on this topic and, like to set the tone of this conversation that we're going to have today, delving into the insights that we need to understand, delving into the new, the ideas that they'll be sharing. So we'll start from Temi. Just an opening remark on the topic.
Hi, everyone.
Temi, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Thank you. I can see you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, nice.
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you to Ruth and her team for having me here. I guess I'll be talking a lot about this topic as we progress, right? But I also wanted to just give background on Babangona and what we do so that when I'm speaking on the topic, you kind of understand the perspective that I'll be approaching it from. Babangona means great farm in Hausa, and essentially we are an agri-tech social enterprise that is dedicated to making primarily youth smallholder farmers richer. And the way we make our farmers richer is by making farming a more viable, profitable, and importantly, sustainable source of income for our farmers. Essentially, we're working to tackle the challenge that a lot of farmers face, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa, which is really low economies of scale. And it's this low economies of scale that trap them in this cycle of poverty, right? For us, that low economies of scale is really that structural problem that drives low yields and low profitability. And it's really what we're trying to solve in order to improve the sustainability of our farmers' enterprises. How we operate. So essentially, we operate by franchising hundreds of mini farmer cooperatives, which we work with across northern Nigeria. And we have the aim of increasing their net income by double the national average. And we achieve this by delivering, an integrated and holistic package of services to these farmers. So we give them everything essentially that they need, from training to farm inputs, to marketing services, to storage and warehousing, to the most important one for some people, which is financing as well. And we do all of this on credit. And we've seen that over the years, since we started in 2012, we have been able to double the yields, but not just the yields, but the income of our farmers by 2x that of the national. And in the last 3 years, we've been able to grow our operations by 5x. So I mean, in terms of our scale and impact, cumulatively since we've started, we've been able to support nearly 500,000 smallholder farmers, and we've been able to create over 1 million jobs within the Nigerian economy, most of those jobs being amongst the youth, 70%, and 33% of those jobs were also female. As we look forward, as we look ahead, our aim is really that over the next 20 years, by 2043, we want to be able to say that we've supported 50 million farmers, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. And so now, hopefully you understand a little bit about what we do. But as I approach the panel and the questions that will be shared, I will be approaching it from a farmer's perspective. But the truth about it is the way we look at our farmers is we look at them as agribusinesses. They're mini agribusinesses. And what we are trying to do is help these mini agribusinesses become sustainable. So I look forward to an engaging conversation on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Temi. That was great. Pabangona, big farm. I love that. 50 million farmers. Just imagine if 50 million farmers are sustainable and have big farms, each of them. Great. Teresa, please, can you give your opening statement? Teresa, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, Teresa. You're
Hello,
welcome.
how are you doing? Thank you so much.
Teresa, we can
Sorry
barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but your voice is a bit faint.
Okay, it's okay now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. We can hear you, Teresa. You can go on. Amarachi, are you there? While we wait for Teresa too, is he there? Is he still there? Hello, Teresa. We can't hear you now. I don't know if you're speaking. Okay, Teresa, while we try to cross that hurdle, please, Amarachi, are you there? Oh, yes, we can hear you.
What is this one?
Amarachi, are you there? Amarachi, please, you can actually
Hello?
unmute Amarachi. Teresa, will come back to you. Can Amarachi just take her opening statement and then we'll come back to you? Thank you. Amarachi, please, you have the floor. Can you unmute, please? We can also hear you. It's like you're muted. Amarachi, can you hear me? It's like you're muted too. Oh dear. Teresa? The perils of digital platforms, but we're sure we're going to cross this hurdle. We're going to cross this bridge. We're hoping that Amarachi and Teresa will be able to solve the audio issues on their end. We are really, really hoping we get that fixed. Amarachi, can you hear me now? Can you speak now? Teresa, can you speak? Okay. Is Amarachi speaking? Hello, anyone that can speak, please just give us an opening remark. Thank you, Amarachi. I think we can hear you now.
Sorry, I'm here. So sorry.
No problem.
It's technology
No problem.
challenge.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Okay, I'm so sorry for the delay because I'm in Ivory Coast now.
Okay, Drissa.
Because of traffic jams.
Okay. Yeah, carry on, carry on.
Okay, so thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's really, really a good topic, talking about such a topic like balancing profitability and environmental impact. It's really important, and especially in the agribusiness models. And I think building sustainable agribusiness model is crucial for the future of our planet. It's all about finding a balance between profitability and minimizing the environmental impact. And this can be only done by implementing some practices like regenerative agriculture, efficient resource management, and reducing chemical inputs. With this kind of practices, we can create a win-win situation for both the agribusiness and the environment. And as far as the topic is concerned, I think collaboration between farmers, policymakers, and consumers is a key to ensure a sustainable and resilient food system. And by the way, funding ways to make agriculture more sustainable is not only beneficial for the environment, but also for the long-term success of agribusiness. And this is just something like, it's exciting to see the innovative solution and practices that some farmers, some entrepreneurs are bringing out now, so that to make the area sustainable. And it's really, really important to make innovation so that to have that kind of sustainability that we are looking for. And if we want to find the perfect balance between profitability and environmental impact in agribusiness, it's definitely a challenge. We all know that it's a big challenge, but how can we manage it? And personally, I think that it requires a multifaceted approach that involves various stakeholders. Some key strategies include implementing sustainable farming practices, such as investing in research and innovation, promoting responsible consumption, and supporting policies that incentivize sustainable agriculture. I think you can see that my English is not as good as yours because I'm a French speaker. So sorry for the.
Thank you very much, Drissa. You're doing really, really great. It's amazing that you're a French speaker because it hardly shows. Thank you very much. Amarachi, are you ready for your keynote, your opening remark? We have an infinite note participant lifting up their hands. I don't know, you cannot, we're allowed to speak when the question and answers are going on. So if you have a question, instead of lifting your hand, you can drop your question at the chat box. So we will pick it up from there and present it to the panelists. So don't be anxious about not having your questions come across. We'll try as much as possible to capture every one of them and bring them forward for our panelists. Amarachi, are you ready for your opening remark, or are we going to move on? I think at this point, we might have to move on with a question.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can hear you. Thankfully, we can hear you. Right.
All right.
So please take your opening remark.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, AFC team. Honestly, it has been an exciting moment for me because this is my first time of featuring in such a platform. I am I'm super grateful. So, and coming from the part that I am also a beneficiary of the BRACE program, honestly, I'll try and make this interaction to be as friendly as possible. So when I got the invitation that I was selected for the program, I was super excited, and at the same time, I was skeptical because I just had a baby. My baby was just a month old, so I was still struggling with the postpartum stress and all that. So, but looking at the program guide and all that, I believe that this program is going to help me, especially at the point in time I need a lot of innovations in my business, and I am so happy that I was able to pick up courage and I was able to done a lot of pivoting in my business, my agri business. So today we're talking about building resilience, building sustainable agribusiness models. I will take it from from the form that we all have families, and in our families, in as much as we try to take care of our children, meet our children's needs, we would not like to do things that would jeopardize our own children. When they grow up, they won't have the ability or the capacity or the enabling environment to take care of their own children. So as agribusiness farmers, we need to look at for ways to ensure that our agribusiness practices are safe for the future, for the immediate generation and the future ones to come. And one of the things I learned or I gathered so much from that press event is that as an agribusiness farmer, we always need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of research because research helps you to come up with new innovations that can mitigate some things that would have caused harm to the environment and to your business. We need to do research. We also need to network with a lot of stakeholders for us to be able to build a sustainable model for our business, and as well as balancing profit for our enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amarachi, for pointing out that, about sustainability. The reason why people do all the practices that are challenging to the environment is because they are seeking how to do things faster, how to make more profit. But if we don't consider all these things, it will affect the environment and our children will suffer the brunt of it. Thank you for pointing out that you painted a picture of actually the real reason why we should build sustainable businesses so that our children will have a future to function in, to operate in. Thank you very much for your opening statement. Three of you have really opened up some discussion topics that will have set the tone for some of the questions that we have. And so I will be going quickly because Temioluwa mentioned something. You said you see all these farmers as mini agribusinesses. So I want to ask you, Temi, I want to start with you. As a general counsel in the agri-tech enterprise, what do you think are some of the challenges those small farmers face, or even the big ones, the medium-sized ones face in transitioning? So when you want to intervene in their businesses and you want to talk to them about how to scale their businesses, what are some of those challenges that they face that prevent them from making that transition, or hold them back from quickly making the change or resisting the changes that you bring into their practices or into interventions you bring into those businesses or into those farmers' practices? What sort of challenges do you usually face when it comes to making that transition?
Thank you. Yes, just checking you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like when it comes to agribusiness, unfortunately, there are no shortage of challenges, right? Especially within the African context. But I think that's really, that sustainability piece is something that we are really working to solve. And for us, there are challenges that are specifically associated with climate sustainability. But there are also the general commercial sustainability challenges that agribusinesses face. And for us, if you can tackle those commercial challenges, then it makes the climate-related ones easier, right? So just to give you some examples, and of course, there are obvious challenges. So everything to do with sustainability comes at a cost, because of course, transitioning to sustainability practices requires initial investments, whether that investment is in new technology, new know-how, new training, new infrastructure. There's a host of costs that are just prohibitive sometimes for agribusinesses, not to talk of, down to the grassroots level, the smallholder farmer. And then again, there's knowledge and training. There is a need for extensive training and knowledge transfer to educate agribusinesses on sustainable practices and technologies. Otherwise, how do they know about them? And it's not just in transferring this knowledge, but it's how do you transfer the knowledge? There can be a logistical and financial challenge associated with even just, getting the knowledge out to these agribusinesses. We, as I said, we work with hundreds of thousands of farmers, right? And in order to support the transfer of knowledge and training, we've had to employ thousands of field officers who are on the ground, in remote areas, working with these smallholder farmers on a daily basis and educating them. But of course, this comes at a large cost to us, right? Again, in terms of market access, it's one thing to advocate for sustainability and it looks nice and it looks shiny and good. But in Africa, sometimes sustainable products don't always have immediate market access, right? They don't always command the premium prices that they do on the global scale. So this also makes it difficult sometimes for farmers and agribusinesses to justify making the transition because there's a lot of costs involved and you don't always see the benefits on the short term or immediate term. And then again, you have the biggest one probably, which is access to capital. So these sustainable transitions, they require significant upfront capital. And again, this can be a deterrent for businesses that don't really have access to this capital. And so, just thinking of just some of these challenges that I've mentioned, the question for us at Babangona is, how can we transition these smallholder farmers to begin to view the farming work that they do with a commercial mindset, right? And to view the farming activities as a business enterprise that can actually grow and thrive and be profitable and sustainable in the long run. And that's why last year we launched a new program, I should say, called the Operator Program. And really what this program does is it works with our members that are experienced, that have been with us for a number of years, and it trains them to run mini Babangona enterprises. And through the program, we're essentially assisting these farmers across the entire crop life cycle, right? Whether it be maize or rice or soybean or whatever crop. And we're using technology to support them. So if I have 1 more minute, I just want to quickly focus on this technology piece, because for us, technology is really the backbone of sustainability, right? It's the one way that you can improve sustainability while minimizing your costs. Technology for us at Babangona is the backbone of everything that we do. We've used the machine learning and AI to train applications. So for example, the applications that we give our farmers, they can recognize when a farmer goes to their field, and it will send a reminder as like a notification to that farmer to capture an image of their crops. And when they've captured the image of that crop, the application can tell them, actually, your plant spacing is off by X amount, or there are issues with the health of your soil, or you have to manage the weeds in one way or the other. So we have applications that can do that. We also have an application, for example, called Farm Calendar. We call it Farm Calendar. And essentially what it does is that it builds in weather prediction analytics and soil moisture data, so that it can tell farmers when is a good time to plant. Because as I mean, farmers in the house will know that it's very important that you get that window right when you are planting. And so the app will then recommend when is the best time for them to plant. It will tell them how they should apply their fertilizers. They can take pictures of their crops and it will say, actually, you need to add more fertilizer, or actually don't add any more fertilizer. So for us, all of this agri-tech technology helps to promote sustainability. And sometimes when you think of an agri-tech company, you think it's only that agri-tech components, right? But agri-tech is so much more than just the features I've described above. For us, we also have technology that helps us with harvesting. It helps us with recruiting our farmer members. It helps us to track the distribution that we're giving, the inputs distribution that we're giving to farmers across many states in Nigeria. We also have an education module, which I think I mentioned previously. Essentially, this is the module that we use to train a lot of our farmers using an application, right? To make sure that they know about the environment and they know the right ways to plant, and they know that they shouldn't do slash and burn and all of those things that can affect the environment around them. So we use technology to do that as well. We also have a logistics app, which essentially is like an Uber or a Bolt for farmers. Essentially, it helps us to distribute all the inputs, but it also helps to receive the grain back and take it to the various warehouses and end users as well. And then, of course, lastly, we play a little in the financial tech space. So we have financial technology, which allows us to give out loans. And to date, we've been able to support farmers over 200 million USD in loans for these farmers and their enterprises. So I guess the point really is that for us, you need to leverage technology and you need to integrate technology into your agribusiness in order for it to be scalable and sustainable, and in order to reduce some of the challenges that I saw. We're in the digital age, you can't run for baby steps than to block it out completely. Thank you.
Okay, I was already speaking while I was muted. Amazing, Temi, about the things you've shared. I was trying to write, and then you said something about technology being the backbone of sustainability, and I was amazed because I was looking at the challenges you were listing out, and one of the things that stood out is cost. You know, costs, access to this technology. You see that a lot of people are struggling. It's something that seems so far-fetched for them. And I was about to say, okay, how can we reduce those costs through maybe collaborations and everything? And I noticed that you mentioned something about franchising, something like a franchising model where you engage other people to have mini babangonas. And it's amazing because that's actually a collaboration idea, you know, so you're not just limiting your impact to what the scope you can cover, but you're engaging other people, recruiting other people independently to take the same ideas, to take the same tools and technology. And it's just amazing hearing all that because it's actually a collaboration idea. So one of the another challenge you mentioned was in knowledge transfer. You know, you've talked about apps, you've talked about technology. And one thing we know is that most of the people who are in that agri space are not really technology savvy. You know, they're older people or middle age, and they're not technology savvy. So when it comes to adopting this new technology, there's a struggle. And I would like to direct my question to Teresa, this second question, just to give some insight, because Teresa is a leader of the youth in agribusinesses yet. But I know you're also a researcher and a coach, so you train people. So what sort of tactics or strategies do you use to ensure that even people who are not technology savvy, for instance, people who don't really understand this, what sort of tools and tactics or strategies can we adopt, or do you usually adopt to do that knowledge transfer, to ensure that they get the basic ideas, to ensure that we cut all the jargon and all the things that usually make them overwhelmed and resistant to that change? So what sort of strategies do you use, you know, to encourage them to build that awareness. I'm into change management, and I understand that there's a lot of resistance to change, whether it's good for you or not. You know, it's sometimes a challenge to get people to start doing what is good for them, even understand how it is. To them, the devil I know is better than the angel I don't know. So how do we bridge that gap? What sort of strategies do you use, Teresa? And what would you advise people who are into knowledge transfer? What would you advise them to do? What strategies would you advise them to take to do that knowledge, to achieve knowledge transfer and get the ideas across to numerous farmers and agribusinesses or agri-entrepreneurs? Drisa, I hope you heard the question, and I hope you're still there. Drisa? Drisa? Is Drisa still on the call? Okay, I think he dropped off, and it would have been really great to get that insight. But I also know that Marachi you're a beneficiary of the BRACE program. And I know that you were someone on the other side. So you are the farmer that has to gain knowledge to start adopting climate-friendly practices. How were you able to, tell us about your experience. Where were you before, the knowledge transfer began? And then what made the difference? What made that shift and that switch for you that made you, now you're open and you're ready, to adopt those practices and make the changes in your business that are required? Share your experience and how you were able to make the transition.
Okay, thank you so much. Before now, I was this farmer that my sole aim was just get the products, make it available, dish it out in the market, make your profit. That's all. So I was just keen at making profits, but it never came to my consciousness that in as much as I'm looking at profit making, I should also be considering the kind of practices I'm doing in my business. I didn't even know that I was doing some things I was practicing was even affecting me directly. Just imagine that. So, but after that BRACE conference, I had to sit back with my team, started doing some analysis, especially when we talked about recycling. So I never knew that water could be recycled. So we do a lot of waste when it comes to water. So we don't know how to manage our water. Once we finish processing for the day, everything, we just pour everything away. I didn't consider the way of disposing the water if it was affecting my immediate environment and all that. And I never knew that the water we use in coconut processing can come as a source of manure to our plantain plantation. So that was one thing that BRACE event and program did for me. So it helps us to start recycling water. So after processing, instead of pouring away, we channel it to our farm, our plantain farm. So it was a very key activity for me after that event. Then also during that BRACE program, it was actually my first time of hearing what is precision farming. It was my first time of hearing that word precision farming, and I'm happy that Temi has been able to talk about the importance of technology. Want to have a sustainable so it also gave me the opportunity. I started thinking of ways, how do I adopt technology into my business to ensure that my business is sustainable, my business is sustainable, then how to use technology to reduce waste and also enhance productivity. Then one other thing that struck me most after the event was in terms of my energy and efficiency. We used to run diesel when during production. I don't know how it never occurred to me. Honestly, sometimes people think that we think that we know something, but we don't know it. Knowing something is one, then putting application is another thing. So I never knew why it never occurred to me on how to conserve energy. So we were running diesel, and the noise, the acid and all that. So, but the BRACE program really made us to start thinking about how to invest in renewable energy. So, and as I'm talking now, we started making plans on how to procure a solar dehydrator. So, and with the research I've gathered from other people in the same in my industry, I've seen how a solar dehydrator has helped them. One, it has helped to reduce cost and a lot of pressure coming from the rise of diesel and fuel and all that. So it's another key thing for me that happened to me, to my business after the Brace event. Then also waste reduction. Honestly, we farmers need to go for training, undergo training like this Brace program. Coconut has a lot of value change. I never thought of all these things. Some things I called as waste were never waste. And before, we used to discard our coconut shells. We just, after production, we start pile up them, sell it off to people that use it as fuel. They use it as fuel for cooking and all that. But then we have to start looking at how do we reduce this waste? How do we recycle coconut shells? Honestly, by the time we started making research, I was amazed. We are amazed to know the kind of thing that can, innovation that can go. I never knew it was stories in drug production and all that. So waste reduction and recycling is one thing that we looked at in our agribusiness. We convert even the flour. Now, not everybody wants to eat a healthy food. Everybody wants to go organic. So we started processing. We never had coconut flour as in our product line, but we were able to settle ourselves, then do some research, do some product testing and all that. Then we'll be able to come up with a new product of coconut flour. So these are things that as in after the Brace event, we'll be able to make some good changes in our agribusiness practices.
Great, Amarachi, so great. There's so much learning that, a lot of insight from the Brace program. And what I would say about that, one key strategy in the knowledge transfer challenge is increasing the awareness. Usually people will not be able to commit to change until they're able to see what is actually wrong with their practice. And what Amarachi has helped us to understand is that she was able to see where she was going wrong. And that's one of the things, rather than tell, we show. You show this is the issue, that is the issue. And then these farmers will begin to understand, okay, yes, I have an issue. And then please, what do I need to do to close this? So it's really key. Thank you for sharing how the Brace program exposed, gave you awareness of what was the practices that you were doing wrongly, and then also helped you with the knowledge required to change your practice, to adopt new practices that are actually, make you now, you can confidently say you're a sustainable business. I know Drisa is still here, and there's some questions on the chat box. Somebody wants to know exactly what from the panelists, and I want to direct it to you, Drisa. What is a sustainable agribusiness? Our participants want to know the definition of, because sometimes we're saying yeah, balancing profitability and sustainability. What are some of those measures? How can we recognize a sustainable business when we see one? What is the look? How does a sustainable business look? What would you say? Hearing that question. Drisa, I understand you're back online, so we'll be grateful if you can give us a clear definition on what a sustainable business is. One of our participants is asking. Drisa, is Drisa still on? Are you still on? This is one of the challenges of, oh yes, thank you. So please, can you help one of our participants who asked, what is a sustainable agribusiness?
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the floor again. I'm so sorry for the challenges I'm having with technology today.
No problem at all.
Sustainable business is not really difficult, but at the same time, it's difficult. Why? If you think about something, if you talk about a sustainable agribusiness, it includes a lot of aspects which you should take into account. But most of one of the key of sustainability is collaboration and the impact your business will have on your consumers and on the environment. If you have been able to see that and set a barrier that can be a very good balance for you, so that to understand what am I going to do. First of all, you have to know what you want to do and where you want to be. If you already know them, then it will be easier for you to build a sustainable agribusiness. And for that, the first thing is you have to train yourself. You have to train yourself, and training is really important. It's really important, and it's one of the pillars of a sustainable business. Because if you want to be an agripreneur, which kind of agribusiness are you going to do? Is it a processing? Is it to go to the farm? What kind of business are you going to do? And if you already have that choice, you have to train yourself in it so that to master everything that you need. And the environmental impact is also crucial. Can you get me? Hello?
Yes, Risa, I can, yes, I can hear you, Risa.
Okay.
We can hear
Okay.
you. Go ahead.
That's why, thank you so much. That's why when the first question was about consumers awareness and education, and if you look at that question, it's have a great things, a great link with the question that one of our participants want to understand about a sustainable agribusiness. Because there is something that nowadays youth didn't understand. They didn't understand about agribusiness. If you want to start a business, it's not like you have your own money and you want to, you will straightly go and invest it. It's not the first thing to do. You have to make a research. Go and look, go and search for a research. If you have all the information that you need,
Tell me, there was a second question about the AI tools, right? Okay, we have a Risa, we'll get back to you soon. I don't know why we can't hear you. But tell me, I'd really like you to respond to a second question that came on our chat box. A second question about access to those AI tools. But before you get into that, could you just give us, because the person who asked about the definition of a sustainable agribusiness said he wants to hear from the panelists. So if you can quickly give us your definition of a sustainable agribusiness, and then tell some of the participants where they can get the access to those tools you talked about in Babangona, maybe possibly share some details or web links that they can access to get those resources. Thank you, Temi.
Thanks, Ruth. I think the panelist that just spoke, he explained agribusiness, sustainable agribusiness, very well, and I would tend to agree with everything he said. The only other component that I would like to highlight for me is the economic viability of that business, right? So it's one thing to ensure that your business is environmentally and socially responsible, but it needs to also be economically viable because if not, you will do it for 1 or 2 years and then you will go back to what you have been doing before because it is not sustainable, right? So for me, an agribusiness is a sustainable agribusiness is really a business that is environmentally sound, socially responsible, but can also scale, right? and in scaling is economically viable. You're profitable, and you're also able to scale over a number of years. You're growing, you're getting bigger. So I think that's sustainable agribusiness to me. In terms of our AI tools, at the moment, our technology is only available to Babangona members. So you need to be a member of the program in order to benefit from the tools that we provide. However, in the next 1 or 2 years, we will be piloting making this technology available to other people. So you can just sign up for it via a subscription basis and have access to it. Again, once this is available, we will, put it out there in the news and in the media once it's available. But just to say that apart from Babangona, yes, we are doing innovative things with technology, but there are a lot of other companies that are similar to us that are doing the same and similar things, right? So I was in Morocco recently, and I met a number of Moroccan agri-tech companies that also have similar technology. I know there are many others, right? In Ghana, Ivory Coast, there are a number of them. So, and I was going to mention this later, but I really think that is where the private sector come in, because the private sector have the resources and they have the resources and they have the manpower and the knowledge to develop this technology, and they are making it available for people in the agribusiness supply chain. So just research it, Google it. There are a number of other agri-tech companies that have these solutions that you can benefit from.
So you heard it. Google it, do your research. Everyone here on the call, there's a lot of technology available. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of knowledge available. And it's important for us to gain the access take advantage of what is available to us. So we've talked about the BRACE program, we've talked about the SEP program. So whatever it is, especially now we're talking about sustainable agribusinesses. She said they are environmentally sound and socially responsible businesses. Drisa also mentioned something about the impact on the customer, the impact on the consumers, impact on the environment. All these things are the considerations. And it's also important to understand what are some of those measures. What measures are you going to look out for to be able to say, okay, I can measure this and I can say I am actually a sustainable business. All these and more you can find in the BRACE program. So if you're here, you're a participant, and you're an agribusiness entrepreneur, and you don't really understand what it means to be sustainable, you don't really understand the things you should track, the metrics, the things you're not aware of what your practices are, the kind of effect or impact your practices are on the environment. The BRACE program is available to give you all that knowledge, and guess what? It's for free. So I know my team members have dropped the link to the application. So if you are part of us in this webinar, and you don't even understand, you're looking for technology, you're just looking to improve. You're just looking. So our BRACE application is there. We also have a hub, a community of agribusinesses. What we do is we're creating that platform where you can come and ask questions. You can just come and ask another community member, how are you doing this? So we're also using this opportunity to call you all, come and join our hub, because we don't only make this impact through our programs, we also have a hub, because we know knowledge is always changing daily and daily. So you have to be in the loop of what's happening. And on our hub, we share resources, we share opportunities, we share trade linkages, all sorts of things to ensure that you're building that profitability and you're also looking out for the environment. You're making sure that that balance, you're keeping that fine balance between the two sides. Amarachi has given testimonial on how the BRACE program has helped her, and I'm sure any one of us on the call will help. So I'll be expecting that the applications, you'll be clicking this link. I don't know if we have any more questions that we can profile here or begin to take our closing statements. We really wish we could keep taking more questions. We could keep asking our panelists more questions so we can get more insight. But there's a lot of resources we have available, so you can take advantage of them following this session. You can click our links, come on our hub, and we'll have a lot. You can also even ask us questions, send us questions. Come to africafood.afchub.org. Somebody should drop our website. So you come on our website, you join, you become a member, you can ask a question, and you get your answers. So please take advantage of what we have available. Teresa, I don't know if you're still back, if you're back now, but would like to take the closing statements. There are still some more questions, a lot of questions, but because of time, we have to just end it here. We've really taken a lot of extra time. That's just what time does to us. Time is always a limitation, but there's no limit when you join the hub. There's no limit of time, when you join our community. So we're encouraging you to join our community. Thank you very much, Temi. Thank you, Amarachi, for sharing such an amazing testimony of your experience with the BRACE program. Thank you, Drisa, for the insights you brought in as a researcher, as a coach, and with all that you do, building the next generation of agribusinesses, the next generation of farmers. It's very great knowing that you are encouraging young people to go into the farming business, because a lot of young people are running the opposite direction. But with all this technology, with all these insights, with all these ideas, with all these interventions, with African food change makers, with Babangona, with all the interventions and all the organizations that are coming up, where we believe that the next generation of young farmers are going to begin to take that step and begin to make their own impact in this agri-food value chain to ensure that, the future of food is intact. Thank you. 5 seconds each and give us like a closing statement, just to wrap up everything that we've talked about today. Remember, for those of us just joining, the theme for today's edition is building sustainable agribusiness models, balancing profitability and environmental impact. Closing statements from our panelists. So we'll start with Drisa. Can you give us your closing statement?
Okay, thank you, Ruth, for the opportunity given
Drisa.
to me and the other
Sorry
panelists.
about the last time. Sorry about the time you were talking about here.
The one who is really sorry because I'm really busy here in Ivory Coast. I came for a training here, and I'm spending some weeks here before going back to Mali.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
I'm sorry for that. But after that, I would like to thank the African food change makers and the opportunity given to us and to the participants so that we can collaborate together and have a sustainable agribusiness through Africa. Thank you so much, and hopefully to collaborate for next time.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to more collaborations and more productive and profitable future together. Amarachi, your closing statement.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, AFC, for this opportunity. And for every farmer on the call, I will always encourage us to do our research. Research is the backbone for any sustainable business. So always do your research. Don't be obsolete, because that thing you know today, tomorrow may be obsolete. So always do your research to update your knowledge so that your business will not die. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Amarachi. Temi.
Thank you so much. I will just piggyback off on what Amarachi said. Not just research, but also, use the resources that are available to you. Do you get what I mean? There's the AFC, there are other programs like Babangona, and so many programs that provide technology, that provide financing. Please don't just rely on grants from the government. That's not sustainable because it's finite, right? but there are so many banks that are willing to support people, and there are organizations like Babangona that are willing to help you to get financing from banks and other private sector players. So just make use of everything you have around you, including the government, DFIs, NGOs, and private sector participants. Thank you so much to AFC for having me here. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you very much to our panelists. We are really grateful for all the insights that you've shared. Thank you. It was a very great opening for our editions for the rest of the regions of Africa. We have the East, we have the Central, we have the South, and the North this week. So spread the word to all your networks in all those regions and to tell them to join. There are other topics we're going to be covering, so and get the topics. I'll be handing over to our moderator for her to wrap up this session with some announcements, other things that we would like you to know. Thank you very much. Anna.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an insightful, enlightening, captivating, interesting, amazing session. I lack the right adjective to actually describe what our panelist has done today, but I want you in one sentence. Let me know what your key takeaway from this session is, because it's been over 30 minutes and we've been talking about building sustainable agribusiness model, balancing profitability and environmental impact. And we've had amazing panelists. Thank you so much, Temiloluwa. Thank you, Amarachi. Thank you, Drisa. And of course, to our amazing moderator, our programs manager at AFC, Ruth Egbe. Thank you so much for navigating the conversation and seeing that these panelists were able to share from their wealth of resources. So thank you for that insightful session. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see your feedback. What stood out for you? Okay, I can see Olabumi says, always make research about business. That's beautiful. Omotola says, very insightful. All right, keep the feedback coming. Keep them coming. And I want you to know, just like the speakers have said, there are so many resources available to you. You have to take action. And one thing we do at African Food Change Makers is to create that opportunity for you that can help you scale your businesses. So with that, I just want to, I think I'm a bearer of good news. I don't think I am a bearer of good news. And I want to unveil to some of the amazing and exciting opportunities we have for you to grow your businesses as an entrepreneur. Okay, so I want to let you know that the application for the Leading African Women in Food Fellowship is currently on. Like, it's a program that is built towards scaling the impact of women. In the agri sector, women do a lot. Women are like the backbone, but most times they don't have enough visibility. And the LAF program is focused on empowering women who are already running businesses and also, creating visibility for them. So that is the link. The link is, I'm sure the link is being dropped in the chat box. I want you to click on the link and nominate any leading woman you know who is making outstanding impact in the agri sector. Click on the link in the chat box and nominate them today. Another program I know a lot of you have heard of, because we have Amarachi, who is like the ambassador of this, unofficial, but because of the way you were sharing your experience, we could see that program was really impactful. So thank you so much, Amarachi, or not even, there's some people who taste something good and they keep quiet. But Amarachi is like, no, I'm going to loud it and say, this is what Brace has done for me. And thank you for being loud about that. So I want to also let you know that the application for the second cohort of Brace is ongoing. I feel like making some noise and hitting drum rolls. See, all those programs are coming to you free, not because it's not costing us at AFC, but we have amazing partners and funders who are saying, we want to make these resources available to agripreneurs. We want to empower you. We want your businesses to be resilient, to be sustainable. Somebody was asking, what is sustainable business? And it's, I like Temi's response. She was like, there are businesses that are environmentally sound, socially responsible, and can also scale. And you cannot scale if you don't have the right training, exposure to knowledge. So the Brace application is on. It is opening today. So click on that link. And there's something exciting again I want you to know. Somebody has been asking, I see someone saying, I've been a part of the program, but I want the program is not in French. The good news is the Brace program also has the French version. So if you are from the French speaking country, we have got you covered. We have heard your cries. We've heard your complaint that, English is difficult for you to understand. So you can also get the Brace program in French. Applaudissez. So share this good news, spread it with every entrepreneur, let them apply, because climate change is real and we need to embrace climate smart practices. Another thing, the mother of all good news is that these programs we have told you, they are like branches of AFC. You get the more benefit of being a member of AFC. I mean, you get the full benefit of AFC when you become a member. So if you are an agripreneur who is here, and I'm sure a lot of you are, and you are not yet a member of African Food Changemakers, what are you waiting for? Can you type in the chat box and tell your neighbor, what are you waiting for? I want to see that in the chat box, especially if you know you're already a member of AFC. Type it in the chat box and say, what are you waiting for? So that other people who are not yet members know that they are. I see Omo for Loha saying, what are you waiting for? I hope you're already a member of AFC. Omotola is saying, what am I waiting for? Omotola, that means you're not even a member of AFC. Or yeah, click the link and please, team members, let's drop the link so that they can register. And I also want you to know that we'll be sending follow-up mails after this meeting with a link for Brace, with a link for Laugh, and also the link to become a member of AFC. All these programs are absolutely free. I can see Oluwafisayo is saying, I am no more waiting. Yes, Oluwafisayo, I like action takers. So right now, click on that link. Uloma is saying, what are you waiting for? Uloma, I hope you're already a member. It's only people who are members that can ask that question. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. And I would invite our programs manager again for the closing remark. And then after that, there's something very important. I don't want you to leave now. If you leave now, you will miss out on the last part. I told you I'm a bearer of good news, so don't leave. I would hand over for the closing remark to Ruth.
Oh, there's not much to say. Anne has said it all. If you are out of the loop, get into the loop. Get into the AFC loop. There are lots of programs. There are lots of resources we're sharing. So if you're here and you have seen the link, please just click the link immediately and join. We thank you all for taking out the time this afternoon, on a Monday afternoon, to join us in this conversation, to join us in gaining the insights that you need. We are really thankful that we have agribusinesses that are so so committed to building sustainable businesses. And so we're saying thank you for joining us. All we together, we are looking forward to ensuring that you are building the size and the scale that is required to be a globally recognized business, nourishing Africa, nourishing not just Africa, but the rest of the world. Thank you very much for this, our first ever Agri-Food webinar. And remember, we said it's a series, so more editions will come up this week. So stay in tune, spread the word, and God bless you for joining. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much. Before you leave, I want you to know that there are so many ways you can connect with AFC. Go and follow us on social media. It is African Food Changemakers on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and on Twitter, it is _AFC Hub. I want you to turn on your camera at this point. Okay, so you have seen our faces, you've seen Ruth's face, you've seen the faces of the speakers. Now we want to see your face. So turn on your camera, put on a beautiful smile, and let's take a screenshot. Because what I want you to do with this screenshot is not just for you to store on your phone. No, I want you to share it online, share your experience and say, I learned this from the Agri webinar by AFC for West Africa. I learned this. Share that picture, because that picture has a way of saying that you were there. Because some people will be like, you did not attend, you did not attend. You'll be like, see my picture. So that's what I want you to do now. I can't see. Okay, I want to stop sharing so I can make sure I'm seeing your faces. I can see Blessing. Blessing, I like that you're a proud. Okay, I thought I saw Blessing. Okay, it's Blessing Crowshaw. Okay, all right. I see. Audu, thank you, Audu, for joining. I can see beautiful faces. Yeah, so please, let's Motola, I can see your face. Emeka, Emeka, you're fine. You're looking very, thank you. I see you're smiling. I see a Bonhomme. I can see Oluwafisai. I see Frank. I see Victoria. Everyone, please turn on your camera. Team members, let's take screenshots. Make sure you're smiling. Mayowa, I see you. Kay, I can see you. And I also want you to know that tomorrow, we are here for East Africa. East Africa will be having their own version of the webinar. I will be looking at building and scaling successful and sustainable agribusinesses in East Africa. If you know an East African, any of your friends who is in Kenya, Rwanda, or any of the East African countries, please share the link with them and tell them to register. Okay, team members, are we taking pictures? I can see more faces turning on their cameras. Oluwafemi, I see you. Eric Johnson, Gifts Chinonye, yes, make sure you're smiling. Hajia Alima, I see you. Tony, thank you all so much. Uloma, I see you smiling, so beautiful. Thank you. Abubakar Umar, Miriam, I see you all. Thank you so much for joining us at this inaugural event. Anasia Melako, I see you. Frenzo, thank you all for being a part of this event. We've come to the end of this event, and we want to thank you all. Join us again tomorrow, and make sure you click on all those links we've shared, from the becoming a member for AFC, sign up for the Agri webinar, sign up for the Brace program, and also for the Leading African Women in Food Fellowship. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, and to all team members. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. East African time, which is also 3 p.m. West African time. If you want to join tomorrow's session, feel free to
West
join.
African time.
Okay, at 3 p.m. East African time and 1 p.m. West African time for tomorrow's session. 3 p.m. East African time, 1 p.m. West African time. Thank you so much to all the team members who have been providing support behind the scene, membership team, programs team, everyone, ICT, we love you, we celebrate you. We're going to come back tomorrow at 3 p.m. East African time and 1 p.m. West African time. My name is Anne Obize. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye. I've not really